Well, guys, how's she going? So it's 8 o'clock at night, and she's been. We've had I guess you could say, a windstorm. I guess you can see how green the grass is starting to get now. Probably another 2 weeks, maybe 3 weeks. I might be. Well, depending on if we get any more rain. They're talking a whole shit ton of rain this weekend and part of next week, so. Might be another. Holy. It actually might be another couple of weeks before I'm maybe thinking about maybe mowing. Believe it or not. So, but I don't even need a sweater on. It got up to 73 degrees today, despite the winds. Of course, the winds were coming out of the south, so the winds were warm. But yeah, they were gusting. There's actually a deer standing on top of that pile of dirt. That's kind of hilarious. I was wondering what the hell's going on over there. But yeah, I don't know. Kind of depending on where and when you looked at it. I know this morning they were saying that we could see wind gusts as high as 50 miles an hour. That's the gusts. Mother's phone said maybe no higher than 30, which is a bunch of bull because, yeah, I think there's been times it's gotten up to 50 miles an hour. It's really bad out in the country. It's actually dusty out. There's actually like a dust storm going on right now. It was way worse earlier. I think the winds have calmed down slightly. So there's not quite that much dust being picked up now. But yeah, it was bad. I think they even had a wind and dust advisory out. Saying something that you probably couldn't see no more than probably a couple of miles, depending on where you're at. So, she was bad. She was bad, and we had to go out in that today. We got a couple of bales because they're threatening rain all weekend long, and then they're talking rain on and off next week. So there's a good chance that the roads are going to get super muddy, going to his place, and then his yard's going to probably get all mudded up, at the young guy's place. So there's a good chance that we may not get down there. So if we, so we decided just to get a couple of bales now, so that way we could at least make it through the rainy spell if we should get it. In a way, we kind of do need it. One, we need to, settle this dust back down and get rid of it. But things are thirsty again. The grass is probably looking for moisture. Because, with the sun and not getting rain for a while, and then with the wind, so everything's dried out now again. Which is nice, but it's also bad for, grass. So we kind of need that for the cows and whatever. So but yeah, so we did that. Got a couple of bales. That should tie us over now for at least a good solid week or two. I don't know, apparently my uncle says he's putting a bale out about every 4 days. That might start to increase, like it might last longer. Just given if the grass would start to grow out there, they would actually have something to eat. So if we get that shot of rain, even if we got it over the weekend, it probably would give the grass a boost and get it to really grow. So then they would have something fresh to eat instead of hay. And the young guy says all the hay that he's got left now, that's what he's giving us now, is CRP hay, apparently. That's hay that's come off a CRP ground that gets cut every 4 or 5 years or whatever. So I guess he had plenty of that ground to cut yet last year. So he did it, and that's what he's got left for hay. He's still got tons of hay. Like there's tons of hay there that he can feed yet. And then he says that his cattle are kind of trained to eat. I guess it'd be like straw bales and stuff, but there has to be grain mixed in with it. So either that or you have to mix it with, I think it was chop or something like that. Like it has to be mixed with grain, you know. But his cattle will eat the straw regardless. Our cows would not do that because they've never been around that kind of stuff, and we've never forced them to just eat it, you know. They've always gotten grass. So they wouldn't even know what to do with a straw bale that was mixed with you know, feed or grain of any kind. So they probably wouldn't know what to do with it. So, but his cows will eat it, so that's what he's been trying to feed him a little bit, just to try to save on hay. But it works, whatever. If his cows will eat it, we'll have at it. You might as well. I'd do it too if our cows are, you know, trained to eat that. So, but whatever. So, but yeah, it's she's definitely windy. Definitely windy. So, what else is going on? Well, I know you guys have probably seen the video of the rebuilt, or not rebuilt, but fixed the starter on the A. Well, the very next day I went out, put the tractor to work. Wasn't really hard work, but it was a job that was needing to be done, and plus I wanted to do it before any of this rain moved in. I hooked the A up to the homemade harrow for scraping cow pies. And plus that was a test to see if the tractor would even stay running. Because I know last year my uncle said, because it was always flooding itself with fuel. It was always overflowing with fuel, and it was actually backing up into the oil breather or the air cleaner. But you know, the air cleaner on these tractors are filled with oil. It doesn't have a filter. It's oil. Well, it backfilled and filled that with oil or with fuel, you know, and it was flooding it. So, and then the tractor, I guess that's probably why the tractor wouldn't run anymore, because it was being plugged with fuel, and maybe it had oil mixed in with it too, I don't know. But I dumped all that out. I didn't put any fresh oil in it, in the breather. I'm not going to, because I don't, if it should, you know, fill up again, well, I'm not going to destroy oil. And I'm down to my last quart of oil for this tractor. And I want that either for the engine, or if I know that it's not going to do it anymore, then I will put fresh oil in the, you know, the little thing that it goes in. So, but the bottom of it, it's still sticky. I guess it got oil. There is some oil in it mixed with fuel, but it's all gooey. So if any dust does come in, as long as that doesn't dry out, the dirt should stick to it. So, and for how hard we're going to actually run on the tractor and how much we're going to be running it, I wouldn't worry about it. We're not running it in dusty conditions like this. So if I was going to run it in stuff like this, you know, then I probably would definitely put oil in it. Honestly, I'd probably just put gear oil in it. I know that sounds stupid. You are supposed to put engine oil in it. But oil is freaking oil, okay? It's going to collect your dirt. That oil doesn't do anything. So, besides collect dirt. So I'll just, hell, I could even just throw in some used engine oil. And I got tons of it. I probably got like 10 gallons of that shit sitting here, you know? So, I even got some used hydraulic oil. I think that's mixed in with my engine oil too. I think those are 1 gallon jugs, so that's two. That's 2, so 4 and 5. But I don't think that's almost empty. But I think I have at least close to 5 gallons of used oil here. And then I'm going to probably have more yet once I change the oil in the Tahoe. So I think I'm just going to throw used oil in it. I don't care. I mean, at least if it continues to do what it did last year, the flooding itself, well, then I don't care if it destroys the used oil. I'm not going to care. But when I had it running out in the pasture harrowing cow poo, it was running, I don't know, pretty good. It about halfway through it did start to run a little bit rough, but I think maybe it might have been trying to chew on some old fuel. I don't know. Maybe there was some dirty fuel in it, or maybe there was even some oil mixed in with it. I don't know, but it wasn't horrible. Like, it wasn't like, jerking you around. It was kind of just backfiring a little bit of spitting, and like, it wasn't really skipping a beat. Because if it was really, if it was really choking on something, it would be running like complete shit, and it probably would have shut down. Because that's what it was doing out on the trail. But then it was also being flooded with fuel too. So I don't know, but then after a little bit, after a couple of minutes, it started smoothing itself back out again. So I figured maybe it just picked up some bad fuel somewhere. I don't know. Maybe it was doing something wonky there. So, but then, like I said, then it started running fine again, and it ran the whole entire time that I was doing it. The only thing that I noticed, and I don't know if it's me or maybe it's just the tractor's a little bit goofy now, or maybe it's always been this way. When you try to go to full throttle, I don't know if it's got to be the governor. I don't know, maybe it's the governor that's saying, hey, don't give it all this power, it doesn't need it. But it would kind of pulse the engine RPMs. It would go up and it would go down, it would go up and go down, but then it would kind of eventually kind of smooth out a little bit. So again, I don't know what's going on there, but I wasn't really running it wide open because you don't really need full power for what we're doing with it. So, and then of course I was racing a rainstorm. I did about 99% of it in first gear. So yeah, I was going kind of slow, but the first round was going to be the sketchiest because that's when you're right up against fencing and buildings and stuff, and you really got to try to get your timing right with the steering and make sure you're not going to hit anything, right? So but then I noticed that there was a big rainstorm or whatever. It was coming out of the north, but I guess it was only a couple of miles from home, but whatever, it decided to go east instead of coming right on top of us. But then there was another one out of the west. That's the one that came over us. And I only had probably 2 rounds left. So I popped the son of a bitch in the second gear, went a little faster, and it was still pulling it just fine. I more or less just wanted to try to beat the rain. Of course, I still never did beat it. I ended up getting rained on. Because at the time, when I was finally done and was actually unhooking from it, I got rained on. But so did my uncle, because he was putting a bale out. So we both got rained on. So, fantastic, right? But what do you do? So, yeah. Well, that wasn't really a good workout for it. Unfortunately, to know if it's going to continue to do what it's going to do, what it did last year, flooding itself with fuel and then shutting down, well, it needs to be hooked up to the spring tooth harrow, and it needs to work up the trail. I feel like that's more of a even though it's a much smaller, it's not really even a cultivator, it's a harrow. So that's what they are, is a spring tooth harrow. But I've been using it like a cultivator. But you also got to remember too that I'm not trying to bury like trash, I'm just trying to pull the weeds out and then, fling some soil a little bit. So it's not like if you're trying to actually cultivate a field, where there you have to bury your trash. Here I don't really have to. I more or less just want to pull it out so then it can die. But a spring tooth harrow, sometimes it's not that good either. It doesn't pull the weeds out. But if you go over enough times, you will you know, you'll mess it up. So sometimes you'll get lucky. Sometimes, most of the time, you don't. But it is what it is. But I feel like that's your best, you know, the best thing to do there is to work the trail up so you can get the tractor under more of a load. Because when you pull the harrow that knocks the poo down, that's probably what, 50 pounds maybe. And yes, it's 15 feet wide, but it's only 50 pounds. That's all you're pulling with it. So it's not really a chore for the tractor. The tractor probably doesn't even know it's back there. I probably could pull it at an idle, but the tractor doesn't really like to idle. It's always been that way. It's never really wanted. It'll try to idle, but then eventually it'll conk out. It's just maybe the idle speed's too low. So, but I don't know. So that's the next thing I got to do with that tractor. And no, the carburetor has not been rebuilt yet. I want to try it the way it is. I know that last year my uncle said to maybe just try to bend the float down a little bit, so therefore it'll shut off quicker. It's probably giving it too much fuel, because if you don't shut it off, because I think that's what the floaters do, is that while they float in the fuel, but then when there gets to be a certain amount of fuel, then the float will go up, push a needle up, and then that'll shut the supply of fuel off to the carburetor. So you're not flooding it, but then when the carburetor demands more fuel, well, then it'll open back up, right? So somehow that controls the fuel. But I think what was going on is maybe it wasn't shutting off soon enough, and it was just continuously dumping fuel into it and, you know, flooding it out. So that's what I did. I adjusted the float last year, but then unfortunately the starter took a shit. So that was the end of the season. You know, I couldn't do anything about it. Well, now I fixed the starter, so now I can actually run the damn tractor and get to tinker with it until something else breaks. I hope nothing else will break this year. I kind of would like a freaking break, but I don't know. I still would like to hook the sickle bar up sometime this year and cut a little bit of grass with it. I may or may not do that, because the first thing that's going to happen before anything else is working up the trail. Unfortunately, we're going to get another rainy spell, so that's going to delay it. But, you know, I don't know. It is what it is, unfortunately. I'm not going to do it now. I don't want to do it right now anyway. And plus, I don't know if that tree is still laying on the trail or not. And I haven't even gotten my saw going yet, and I only got 1 can of fuel left. I think the chainsaw's full of fuel. I usually like to top them off, you know, when I'm done with them for the season. So I should have a full tank of fuel in the saw. But I don't know. But I got to do that before I can even get on that trail and work it. And since they're talking rain, I think even tomorrow they're talking a 40% chance. And then freaking Saturday, they're talking like a 60 or 70% chance. Mind you, this all could change, of course, with time, but cat. Depending on what the weather does, I'm going to wait until tomorrow evening, try to get like a final weather report, and then if I need to. There's freaking bird shit on. I just know that there's bird shit on here. How the hell did that get on here? There must have been a bird that flew in here when I had the door up. Well, you easily get sidetracked, don't you? Let's just notice that now. Must have been that one day when I had it up, but it's funny I didn't notice that. I'm sure that's not rat. That's definitely not rat poo. Rat poo's black. That's bird. So must have had a bird in here. Either got out or it died. I don't know. I don't smell nothing rotten, but yeah. So I don't know what the hell I was talking about now, but yeah. So there's still some things I got to do yet before I can, work that trail up for the first time. The young guy said he can't find his book. He was gonna let me borrow his book on, it would be for the 86 series tractors, so I could, come up with a game plan to order. I guess the other thing that I missed with that, I thought it was just the seals. He's also saying that there's, I guess it would be like bushings, but he says that they're a soft bushing, like they got like tape on them or some kind of a sealant on them, and they says that the second that you disturb that, they're done. They're a one-time use. So not only do I have to order actual O-rings, or seals, I have to order these special gasket or these bushings or whatever the hell they're called. Because once I try to remove that shaft, then I destroy them as well. I have no choice but to destroy them because they're a one-time use. You can't reuse them. So I have to put money aside now for that. And he also says to get the shafts out, there is a special tool. He says that he has a homemade one, but wherever it is, who knows. But he says that there was one that you could buy from International back in the day, but chances of probably finding them are probably, I don't know, there's a 50-50 chance you might get lucky and find one. You might have to go to a completely different state, but around here, I don't know. But he says what you can do is you can remove the cover on the back of the tractor. It's the one that your top link would go to for your 3-point, the top link. Apparently, if you remove that cover, because it's also a cover, you can go down in there with a hammer and I think a punch, and he says you can sit there and just try to punch it out, pound it out. But that's a little bit more time consuming, but he says that's also the last ditch effort. You could try. Yeah, given my freaking luck, I'd probably end up bending or destroying the shaft or whatever I gotta pull out. I'll probably end up freaking damaging it in some stupid way. I'll find a way. So, but I don't know. But I don't know. So that's what's gonna have to happen. But I would like to at least get a book. The young guy says that he must have given his book to a friend or something that was wanting to borrow it, and he never got it back. So, and it actually kind of pisses me off, because if he's right about this, the books that he has, at least on this one anyway, is a true International Harvester shop book. Now, you're probably not going to find them anymore. You might get lucky, who knows, but there are other companies that will reproduce these, and they do. There's Blue Ribbon. I have a book from Blue Ribbon on the engines for these tractors. That's actually a shop book. I just happened to get lucky in finding that. And then there's a INT book. That's the one that I found on eBay for like $30. For, it's brand new. So, big crunchy leaf. But yeah, so yeah. But yeah, I think it would be totally badass if you could find a true original International Harvester shop book. Those are getting kind of hard to find, but it'd be cool. But if you don't, whatever. There's other companies that make them themselves, try to recreate them, but they go under a different name. Obviously, it's not International Harvester. They just put the make and model of the tractor on the book, and then a picture of the tractor and everything else, right? So it's not a true International Harvester book, but it's about as good as they're gonna get. And I'm not too picky, on brand a book. I just want a book that's actually useful. I don't want to have to keep buying. This is what's so stupid is I have technically one other book on these tractors. It's not a shop book, but it's pretty freaking damn close. And it's so stupid because they talk about literally everything from the engine to what it takes to rebuild the brakes on these tractors and everything in between. But it does not cover that one little stupid part that I have to fix on my tractor now. It's crazy. And those books weren't cheap either. I know they were a little more money. So and they're red. It's the red book. I think it's James or James or I don't know. It starts with a J, but. And then I also have the operator's book on my tractor, my 15. So, not that I really needed it because you know how to drive a freaking tractor like that, but you know, might as well have it. It was cheaper. It was cheap at the time, so I figured I might as well grab it too. So, and then like I said, I have a blue ribbon on the engine. So I just think it's kind of dumb that I have to turn around and go buy it. I got a freaking book. This will be my third book now I've had to buy on this stupid tractor. Why can we just not have one goddamn gigantic book that literally covers everything? You know, yeah, it'll probably cost like $200, but then at least it's a all-in-one kind of book, you know, instead of having to have 3 different kinds of stinking books. But I'm also going to order, I believe it was still an INT brand book, I think, but it was used. It was really, really used. So, but it's on the little A. And that's also, if I remember correctly, is a shop book. I can't remember, but I'm pretty sure it was. But I don't know, he only wanted $15 for it. But considering how small these A's are, there's not much to them. I mean, my tractor just looks bigger because it has that more on it, you know, and all the mounting hardware and some of that's not even original to it. Like that bars that go up and over the fuel tank, that's not original. That was added on, you know, I suppose a few years later because they found out it wasn't the original design was cracking the casting. So I think they reinforced it so that wouldn't happen. So, but other than that, it would have been just underneath. It would have all been just attached on the bottom side of the transmission. But they put that over piece on it. That was to reinforce it, I guess. So, but yeah, I found a shop book on that as well. But it's used. It is, you know, used. So it's not going to be in fantastic shape. It's not going to be all shiny and new. I personally don't really care. As long as I can read it, every page is readable, you know, I don't care. So I'm going to order it. It's only $15, so why the hell not? But it probably won't be for I don't know. I gotta wait to see when YouTube's going to pay me. Because after I made that those Our Wyoming Life videos, well, the first one did pretty good. It's up to like 11,000 views. The comments have slowed down quite a bit, but that's to be expected with an old video now. But I don't want to say I've made a filthy amount of money, but I've definitely I'm getting very close to my $100 goal. You know, that's the default setting for money from YouTube. It's, you know, you got to make $100 or more. If you make less than that, then they'll, you know, carry it over onto the next month. So, and I usually only get paid by YouTube every like 4 months, probably 4 or 5 months. So it's never really ever worth it. But since they watched that video, it gave me a good shot. So I got another video too that's doing all right. It's up to a little over 100 views. Normally my videos don't even get above 40 on a good day, but other than that, it's less than that. So 40 on a good day, but yeah. So, but when I get that YouTube money, that's what I'm going to do. Is I'm going to order those stinking books. even if the young guy did find his book, I still would want my own, because I'm going to want to actually, study it, look it over, understand, try to understand it, because I know it's all just going to look like Chinese writing to me for the first couple of months. But, slowly read it, look at the pictures if there are any, and study the pictures, and then try to make sense of the words. So, like I said, it's all going to be like Chinese writing to me for the first month anyway. So, but I don't know. But I know that you can also get the books from I don't know. I think Steiner sells them as well, but they're the red ones, and that's what I have now. But I don't know. But like I said, mine are not shop books. No, I think the one that I have that's for everything else is a parts book. And what the difference is, I don't know. But, well, mine's a parts book, whereas the one that the young guy has is a shop book, meaning that it would be actually a shop would own that. Like, like an International Harvester dealership. That would be their style of books. But I don't know. But I don't know. I feel like to own a tractor, you have to have like 10,000 books. Now, I don't know. I think I can, but I don't know. But I think, see, like now for Big Red, I own an operator's book. That's it. That simply just tells me how to change oil and other stuff. It doesn't do anything else. So, got some dogs running around, it looks like. Yeah. I think got a dog running around over here. I think it's the neighbor's dog. He's like, don't mind me, I'm just going to take a dookie. Yeah. Go home, doggy. It just snorted at me. Jesus Christ, am I going to die now? That's great. I'm going to die. I'm going to die. Alright, well, this is the last video you're ever going to see from me, I think. Oh shit, it ran away. Alright, well, maybe I'm not going to die. No. Well, I guess I'm not going to die. Alright, well. But yeah, so, like I was saying before I just about got murdered by a dog, I don't remember what the hell I was talking about now. Went brain dead again. But, yeah, well, like I was saying with Big Red, I have only the operator's book for him. I'm not 100% sure, but I think if you went on Polaris's website, I think you technically could find a parts book, or you might even get lucky and actually find a shop book on that. But I don't know, usually, like Polaris and John Deere, they've always been like really good on their websites. Like if you need to find parts, they have a breakdown catalog on their website that you can look it up there. And it's usually pretty detailed. The same thing with my mower deck on my John Deere. I can order a book just for the mower. I don't have it. I should get it. I could call my local John Deere dealer and give them the item number for that book, and then they could order me one, but I don't know. So, but you know what I mean. I mean, you can find these damn books, you just gotta know where to look. So, but I don't know. I think it is what it is, unfortunately, but I think I'm going to order that book. And especially since it's only like $30, I mean, why the hell not? So I hope it's worth it. Because it doesn't matter if it's only $30, it's still $30. I could have spent that $30 somewhere else if this book is not going to give me the information that I need. I'm not going to keep buying book after book after book. So at this point, I'm going to have so many goddamn books, I'm going to need a bookshelf just for the 1586, not the A, the 400, and whatever. I was like, we need books on the 400 too. I even found a book on the farmhand F11 loader that's on the 400, because we need a book on that too. But I think again they wanted like $30 for it because it's new. Obviously, it's not old. But that was on a different website though. That wasn't on eBay. So that was on a completely different website. But probably should order that too sometime, so that way maybe we could find out who's who's still selling the seal kits for the loaders, so we can have the cylinders repacked, because they're leaking like a son of a bitch, and gets expensive real quick when you got to dump 5 gallons of hydraulic oil in every few months. So, like, I mean, it only leaks when you use it, but it adds up over time. So, but it's not my loader. But I think if we at least had the book on it, it would be a lot better. So, but yeah, I don't know. But I guess that's what's going on there. Like I said, I'll have to order that book online because the young guy can't find his. Which, it is what it is. I'm not pissed off about it, obviously, because, I was going to order my own anyway. So, it doesn't really matter. It would have been nice to have seen it, but whatever. I'm not going to cry about it. I'm not going to throw a fit about it. It is what it is. At the end of the day, I'm going to order my own. It won't be a true International Harvester book. It would be an INT book, but it should still work fine. As long as it discusses that part, it'll be worth it. So, but, yeah. So, I guess that's pretty much it. I guess that's what we'll do. And then, like I said, maybe in a couple of weeks, or maybe probably won't be for another month, probably, we'll hook the A back up to the little harrow there, the little spring tooth harrow, and we'll go work the trail. Give her a little bit more of a workout. And, so we can actually see if she's going to conk out or not on us. So, but if it does, it does. If it don't, well, then that's good then. I guess adjusting the float is what did it. I mean, I didn't adjust all that much. Like, I don't know, it was probably like this originally. I probably moved it to like that. Like, I didn't move it much. But, it doesn't take much either to make these adjustments. Some stuff is kind of sensitive. So, now I got a black cat hanging out. That's not my cat. So, but yeah, I don't know. It is what it is. So, but yeah. So maybe we fixed it. I don't know, but it would still be nice to kind of rebuild it anyway, just so that way we know it's fresh. But I'm gonna go ahead and leave that one up to my uncle. He can do that. I got the parts. He knows where to find the parts. Whenever he has free time, he can do it. That's more like a rainy day project too. So, but yeah. Anyways, guys, I'm gonna take off. I want to go do a couple other things and whatever else. So, yeah. Anyways, guys, I'm going to take off, so I guess to have a good day and stuff. So, yeah. Thanks for watching, guys. Take her easy.